Saya ng Paskong Pinoy. Narito sa DWAN 1206 AM.
Ang susunod na programa ay rated PG. Patnubay at gabay ng magulang ay kailangan sa mga batang manonood.
Join us as we uncover the stories behind every game-changing moment with Bill Velasco. Get ready to dive into the heart of sports because it's time for your favorite sports step into the spotlight.
Isang napakagandang umaga po sa inyong lahat, mga teammates. Ito po ang Hardball with Bill Velasco. Ang oras po natin, 11:01.
You're tuned in to Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Tutukan mamaya ang ating eksklusibong panayam kina Coach Let Dimson, Junela Albino at Judy Arevalo ng Far Eastern University. Lady Tamaraos na matagumpay na nadepensahan ang kanilang titulo sa ika-4 na sunod na taon matapos nilang magkampiyon sa katatapos lang na UAAP Season 88 Women's Football Tournament.
Hardball with Bill Velasco.
At huwag nyo ring palagpasin ang ating naging makulay na kwentuhan kasama ang PBA champion at Ateneo basketball legend at ngayon proud father. Walang iba kundi si Doug Kramer at samahan nyo kaming balikan ang kanyang mga naging laban hindi lamang sa loob ng court kundi maging ang kanyang mga naging pagsubok sa buhay kabilang isang near-death experience at siya po ay isang stroke survivor.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
At diyan sa atin ang Basketball Universe PHL na matatagpuan sa YouTube at Facebook kaya like, share, subscribe at follow na rin.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Bago tayo magpatuloy, sundan kami sa aming mga social media accounts sa Facebook DWAN 1206 AM, wala pong space yan. Sa YouTube DWAN.1206 AM. Sa TikTok at DWAN 1206 AM at sa Instagram at DWAN 1206 AM.
You're tuned in to Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Sa ulo ng ating mga balitang sports ngayong Martes, pinangalanan na ni Coach Tim Cone nitong Lunes ang 12-man lineup ng Gilas Pilipinas na lalaro kontra sa Guam sa pagbubukas ng first window ng FIBA World Cup Asian Qualifiers sa Biyernes. Muling nanguna sa listahan ng national team veterans na sina Junmar Fajardo, Japet Aguilar at Justin Brownlee. Balik Gilas duties din sina Dwight Ramos, AJ Edo, Chris Newsom, Scotty Thompson, Carl Tamayo, Kevin Kiambao at CJ Perez. Kinumpleto ni na Ginebra sophomore guard na si RJ Abarientos at UAP champion big man na si Quentin Millora Brown ang opisyal na roster ng koponan. Ito ang unang beses na lalaro si Quentin para sa national team matapos ang ilang buwang proseso na kanyang pinagdaanan sa kanyang local eligibility application. Hindi naman nakasama sa pinal na listahan sina Jamie Malonzo, Troy Rosario, Ange Kwame at ang Converge Fiber Xers guard na si Juan Gomez Deliano. Sisimula ng bansa ang kanilang kampanya sa Asian Qualifiers kontra Guam sa Biyernes, November 28 sa Calvo Fieldhouse.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Okay, talagang magandang sukatin natin itong Final 12 na ito. Medyo manipis ng konti pagdating sa height because of course Kai Soto is not playing and there are injuries to other players. Pero napaka-experiencado naman natin. No? You have Dwight, Scotty, and Chris Newsom, and you have a couple of younger guys sa backcourt. You have Quentin Millora Brown who will experience his first time to play for the national team. May mga nagtatanong daw baka makapasok pa ba si Troy Rosario para palitan si Alvin Oftana. Masyado ba daw maraming guards, kulang ng wing players, at bakit hindi pinili si Juan Gomez de Leaño? Well, si Juan po, bagamat marami na siyang experience, no, he is just a rookie in the PBA. Converge is playing very well, and at the same time, syempre lamang sa experience at chemistry at karanasan kasama si Coach Tim Cone, no, sina RJ Abarientos. Kaya minabuti na ni Coach Tim. Wala naman daw dahilan para piliin o hindi piliin ng isang player. Ang lamang lang nung mga napili is of course yung experience nila bilang manlalaro ni Coach Tim, kung hindi sa Barangay Ginebra ay sa Gilas Pilipinas na rin. At hindi lamang yun, syempre if you're QMB, you cannot teach height, so syempre kukunin mo yung isang player na malaki to shore up the front court dahil nga wala si Kai Soto. Okay, so let's hope the team finally comes together, develops a chemistry, at sana'y handang-handa na sila para sa Guam sa darating na laban.
Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Muling nagbigay karangalan sa bansa ang Filipino gymnast na si Carl Eldrew Yulo matapos niyang makuha ang kanyang ikalawang tansong medalya sa 3rd FIG Artistic Gymnastics Junior World Championships kagabi sa Manila Marriott Grand sa Pasay. Tinapos ng 17-year-old national team standout ang kanyang kampanya sa nasabing 5-day tournament sa isang bronze medal finish sa horizontal bar. Umiscore na 14 points si Eldrew sa finals ng high bar matapos ang isang solidong routine at matagumpay na landing bonus na naging daan para makuha niya ang huling pwesto sa podium ng naturang event. Ito ang ikalawang tansong medalya ng Pride ng Adamson sa Junior World Championship matapos ang kanyang bronze medal finish sa finals ng floor exercise noong linggo.
You're tuned in to Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Ang kagandahan po nito ay todo suporta ang kanilang pamilya, Kaloy at ang kanilang ama na si Mark ay nanood po at sumuporta po sa kanya, at hindi naman po sa pagmamayabang, pero sinabi ng kanilang ama na posible talagang magkaharap sila sa nalalapit na hinaharap dahil siyempre pareho silang men's gymnast, pareho silang world rank, so hindi po may iwasan talaga na maglalaban sila. At tingnan na lang natin kung anong kanilang mapagkasunduan, kung pare-pareho ang events na kanilang sasalihan, pero hindi po natin may iwasan talaga na magsagupan ang dalawa. At dapat matuwa na lang tayo dahil yun lang pinag-uusapan natin, ang tinatawag nilang embarrassment of riches, na parang sobrang dami naman nating magaling na gymnast na lalaki ngayon na bihira pong nangyayari sa kasaysayan ng Philippine sports.
You're tuned in to Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Nanaig sa MPBL, nanaig ang top-seeded Quezon Huskers kontra sa Binyan Tatak Gel sa isang dikit na Game 1 win 57-55 sa pagsisimula ng kanilang South Division Finals kagabi sa Quezon Convention Center. Sumandalang defending South Division champions sa kanilang mainit na shooting sa pagbubukas ng fourth quarter na nagbigay daan para makapagtayo sila ng isang 54-46 na bentahe at nagawang makabalik sa laro ng Tatak Gel sa tulong ng isang 9-3 run sa huling 4 na minuto ng laro, kung saan ang huling 4 na puntos dito ay nanggaling sa veteran big man na si Mark Pingris. Pero hindi ito naging sapat para maungusan ng Quezon na muling sumagot ng magkasunod na basket mula kay Judel Fuentes. Magaganap ang Game 2 ng serye sa Miyerkules, November 26, at yan pa rin ay gaganapin sa Quezon Convention Center.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Samantala, update naman tayo sa PVL Playoffs. Ginulat ng 5th seeded Petrogas Angels ang mundo ng Philippine Volleyball matapos silang talunin ng defending champions Creamline Cool Smashers 25-23, 25-19, 16-25, 25-14 kagabi sa Smart Araneta Coliseum para tuluyang umusad sa semifinals ng Reinforced Conference. Isang vintage performance ang pinakita ni dating league MVP Myla Pablo sa nasabing quarterfinal match kung saan umiscore siya ng team-high 26 points galing sa 23 attacks, 2 blocks at isang ace. Pinangunahan ng 32-year-old spiker ang 16-6 run ng Angels sa fourth set na tuluyang nagdikta ng laban at nagbalik sa Angels sa Final Four ng PBL. Kasabay nito, tinuldukan din ng Petrogas ang 19 na magkasunod na medal finish ng Cool Smashers. Ito ang unang pagkakataon na hindi makatapak sa podium ang Creamline sa kanilang 8 taong paglalaro sa liga. Nakakaharap ng Petrogas ang Akari Power Chargers sa semifinals ng Reinforced Conference na magsisimula na sa Huwebes, November 27.
You're tuned in to Hardball with Bill Velasco.
At kaugnay niyan, isang upset win din ang nagawang makuha ng 8th-seeded Akari Power Chargers matapos nilang manaig kontra sa top-seeded Firefresh Foxies 28-26, 30-28, 25-21 kagabi sa Smart Araneta Coliseum. Tinanghal bilang player of the game ang veteran libero na si Justine Hazareno matapos niya mag-poste ng 21 digs at 10 excellent receptions sa naturang straight set win ng Power Chargers. Samantala, binuhat naman ni Annie Mitchum ang opensa ng Akari matapos niyang umiscore ng 25 points kabilang ang cross-court spike na nagselyo ng panalo para sa Power Chargers sa third set. Nag-ambag din ng tig-10 puntos sina Christine Joy Soyud at Gretchen Soltones para sa Akari na tutulak na sa kanilang ikatlong sunod na semifinals sa PVL.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Punta naman tayo sa Collegiate Leagues. Patuloy ang pagdomina ng University of Santo Tomas sa men's at women's division ng UAAP Season 88 Beach Volleyball Tournament. Muling pinamalas ng 7-time defending champion Growling Tigers ang kanilang galing matapos nilang walisin ang elimination round ng 5 wins na walang talo. Tinapos ng MVP duo nina Alci Gupiteo at Dom Gabito ang kanilang kampanya sa qualification games sa isang dominanting manalo kontra kina Gian Salazon at Amil Pasino ng Ateneo Blue Eagles 21-14, 21-18 kahapon sa Sands SM by the Bay. Samantala, tutulak na rin sa semifinals ang duo nina Sofia Pagara at kay Prohelia ng host University UST matapos nilang manalo kontra kina Mika Buis at Ella Raagas ng De La Salle Lady Spikers 21-11, 21-4.
Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Ang oras po natin ngayon ay 11:12. Time out muna tayo sa ating pagbabalik. Tutukan ang ating exclusive interview kina Coach Let Dimzon, Janelle Albinio at Judy Arevalo ng Far Eastern University Lady Tamaraos na matagumpay na nadepensa ng kanilang titulo sa ika-4 na sunod na taon matapos silang muling magkampiyon sa katatapos lang na UAAP Season 88 Women's Football Tournament. Huwag kayong bibitiw, magbabalik pa ang
Hardball with Bill Velasco. Handa na ba kayong makitambay? Kasama sina Charlie Manalo, Humphrey Manalo, Danny Legman at mga guest hosts na siguradong may dalang kwentong inspirasyon, impormasyon at kasiyahan. Tuwing Lunes, tambayang paaralan, balitang campus, scholar kwento at tips para sa ating mga kabataang iskolar ng bayan. Miyerkules, tambayang kabuhayan, negosyo balita, tech tips at kwento ng tagumpay ng ating kabarangay. Biyernes, Barangay Talk, Usapang Bayan at kwentong party list. At tuwing Martes, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. LGU Special, serbisyong publiko at proyekto para sa mamamayan. Barangay 13, Lunes, Miyerkules, Biyernes, 2:30 to 4 p.m. At Martes, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Dito lang sa DWAN 1206 a.m. Mula mula sa pangangalaga ng kalusugan hanggang sa serbisyong panlipunan, magbibigay kasagutan at impormasyon sa mga nangangailangan. Kasama sina Yomi Tiburcio at Greg Gregorio sa Kapwa Ko, Sagot Ko, tuwing Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 10 ng umaga, dito sa DWAN 1206 AM. You're tuned in to Hardball with Bill Velasco.
At sa pagpapatuloy ng ating programa, narito sa linya natin ngayon si Coach Let Dimson at si Jonella Albino at Judy Arevalo, at sila ay bahagi ng dominating dynasty ng women's football sa UAAP, ang FEU Lady Tamarao's women's football team. And good morning and welcome po sa Hardball.
Good morning, Sir Bill.
Okay.
Good morning, Coach.
Okay, Coach Let, first of all, going into this season, syempre, sunod-sunod po ang pagpapanalo ng FEU. How much pressure was there para mag-champion kayo ulit?
For me, okay lang naman, but wala masyadong pressure sa akin kasi sa experience naman natin with the collegiate level. Yung more pressure kasi nasa mga players eh.
Okay.
Kasi since na sila yung nandun sa training, so sila yung naglalaro, and then also yung mahirap talaga din i-sustain din kasi yung championship title eh. So for 3 years na hawak namin before this season, ay nasasabi ko sa kanila na kailangan lang talaga nilang mag-focus dun sa mga trainings and walang bibitaw. Kung the objective is we wanted to get the 4 pits, so kailangan talaga magtrabaho sila ng gusto.
Paano nyo na maintain, Coach, yung recruitment? Kasi alam naman natin ngayon, pagdating sa mga palarong pambansa, sa mga batang Pinoy, agawan talaga ng athletes yan, lalong-lalo na galing sa mga probinsya. How do you maintain the high level of quality of players that you have?
Sa totoo lang po, actually, nagbe-base lang ako sa kung sino yung magte-turn out dun sa tryout. Before kasi ginagawa ko, nagre-recruit ako ng players, nag-scout ako from provinces. Pero unluckily or unfortunately, hindi ko na kukuha yung mga players na gusto ko. So kaya from the moment, mga 2016 yata, I decided to call for tryouts na lang. Kung sino yung talagang mga gustong magpunta for FEU, na gusto maglaro for FEU, ayun na lang talaga yung kinukuha ko.
I see. You were originally, if I'm not mistaken, kayo po isang middle distance runner, and then you found a home in the FEU football program. How does it feel that you're still with FEU and you're continuing to contribute to yung legacy ng school sa women's football?
I'm so happy kasi syempre before pangarap ko lang kasi when I was a child, since some of my team, my cousins is playing for Gintong Alay, so they're part of the national team. Din ko na makapaglaro for the national team, and hindi ko na-expect na sa football ko siya ma-reach eh. So that's why when I started playing with FEU as a track and field player, so parang nawalan ako ng chance or at that moment kasi nga matatanggal ako sa track and field because hindi ako naka-point. So that's why I started training with football at the same year. And sinabi ko lang kasi talagang kailangan ko i-survive yung scholarship or else mawalan ako ng scholarship, hindi ako makapag. And when the time na nabigyan ako ng opportunity with the footballs, and after a year, kasi 1 year lang ako nag-train, after a year napasok ako sa national team. So at that moment, sinabi ko na hindi ko pa akwalan yung mga opportunity na yon. And ayun, continue na nag-grow ako in football. And then yung mga achievement ko with as a player and as a coach and playing for the national team. So sabi ko, yun yung parang siguro yun yung chance ko na may angat ko yung family ko from sa poverty dahil since na I was coming from a very poor family.
Alright, thank you, Coach. Kausapin naman natin si Junela Albino, the MVP of Season 88. Junela, yung debut mo sa FEU ay medyo naudlot dahil sa COVID. Gaano kasarap itong mag-champion ngayon na matapos ang napigil yung career mo?
Para po sa akin, okay lang po. Kasi nabawi naman nung after ng pandemic. Kasi tuloy-tuloy naman po yung training namin kahit naka-zoom lang kami. Palagi kami nagte-training with Coach Let and with assistant coaches. Kaya tuloy-tuloy pa din yung training namin nung kahit nagka-pandemic. Pero nung bumalik na sa Manila, naging worth it naman lahat yung pag-training namin sa Zoom kasi nakatulong po talaga yung strength and conditioning namin na training.
Okay, inasahan mo ba na may chance ka mag-MVP?
For this season po?
Oo.
Hindi po. Ang para po sa akin yung MVP ko po talaga yung goalkeeper namin kasi hindi ko po talaga in-expect na ako po yung tatawagin na MVP nung last finals namin.
I see. Okay, ngayong tapos na yung playing years mo sa collegiate level, anong plano mo?
Hindi ko pa po alam kung ano pa po plano ko next after dito sa FEU.
Okay. Would you consider playing abroad kung may pagkakataon ka?
Hindi ko pa po sure kasi hindi po ako ready magpumunta ng abroad.
I see. Okay. Anyway, importante doon, graduate kang champion at may degree ka naman, So let's talk to Judy Arevalo, Season 88 Golden Boot awardee at Rookie of the Year last season. Judy, anong sikreto ng pagiging consistent sa women's football sa UAAP?
Lang po sir, makinig lang po sa mga sinasabi ng coaches po and yun po i-apply lang po kung ano yung pinapagawa nila siguro yung training po and yun lang po, disiplina lang po sa sarili.
I see. Medyo marami-rami rin na mga seniors ang gagraduate ngayon. Ano sa tingin mo ang mangyayari sa FEU Lady Tamaraws football team next season?
Yun nga po, parang nape-pressure na po kasi madami po silang aalam. Lang po, tuloy lang po kami sa pagtrabaho. And papangako po na lang po sa kanila habang nandito po ako. Ipagpatuloy ko po yung ginagawa niyo.
Very good. Parang kanta yun, Coach Let, what happens to the team now? Are there any other tournaments that you're participating in for next year?
So now kasi rebuilding kami, although may mga players pa rin na magstay for until the end of the school year. Ang plan po kasi, I'm not sure with the schedule of PFF kasi normally we join in Philippine Women's League. Nag-start kasi siya minsan April or March. So it depends pa rin po. So ngayon, naka-break kami so wala pang training pero if ever na mag-start by next year yung Women's League. So Women's League yung first tournament na lalaruan namin.
Okay. Normally, when do you start training again?
By end of January or first week of February.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Coach Led Dimson, Janelle Albino, and Judy Arevalo of the FEU Lady Tamaraws women's football team. And congratulations, and thank you for taking time to join us on Hardball.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Alright, magpapatuloy ang ating programa at si Doug Kramer naman ang ating kakausapin. Hatid sa inyo ng Basketball Universe PHL. Magpapatuloy ang
Hardball with Bill Velasco. sa paghahatid ng mga balitang napapanahon.
Makakasama naman po natin sa linya ng telepono.
Makabuluhan at pinag-uusapan. Tututukan ng mga mas mapanuri at mas pinalakas na puwersa ng IBC News Team. Tutok 13, Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 4 ng hapon.
Hi guys! Para sa mga bagong aspiring Lotto Millionaire, ito ang video ng schedule ng Lotto.
Araw-araw, may tsansa kayong manalo dahil araw-araw ang swerteng hatid ng mga game ng PCSO.
Super exciting rin ang cash prizes na dala every Thursday ng 2D Lotto, 3D Lotto, 6D Lotto, Lotto 642, and Super Lotto 649.
Siguradong mag-e-enjoy kayo every Friday sa weekend treat ng 2D Lotto, 3D Lotto, 4D Lotto, Mega Lotto 645, and Ultra Lotto 658.
Huwag palampasin ang pagkakataong maging Lotto Milyonaryo.
Gina, sa suking Lotto outlets and buy your tickets na!
At araw-araw, let's play Lotto!
When I did my bench press, I literally won. I felt so tired. And then our Kendra was very small at the time. That I said, you know what? Why do you look like you just took a shower? I was sweating profusely after one. And then I had to go like this. And then I tried to stand up. I staggered to my left. Like my left side was very heavy. And then I shouted for checks. I fell to the side, couldn't control, and I just vomited. And I couldn't move. And then eventually after like 30 minutes, checks was like, are you gonna die on us? You know what's happening? And then nagpapanik na talaga.
Ngayon naman, buuin natin ang aming panayam sa tahanan ng Team Kramer. Doug, first off, yung maglalaro mo sa Ateneo, that seemed to be like magical and memorable. What made it that way?
I think the struggle and the climbing of the hill, so to speak, you know, my time in Ateneo was 2002 to 2006. That's like almost 20 years ago na, for my last year. And I guess it was still normal for players to go through 5 years at this time, but looking now, parang bihira ng mga 5-year players. But it was a process for me, and it helped me grow because my first 3 years in Ateneo, especially my first year, I was bangko. To the word bangko talaga, as in dulo talaga, and people were bashing me, Atenista.net, you know, Butterfingers yan, Tisoy lang yan, ganon, ay nakuha ko na lahat yan. But you know what? It didn't affect me. In fact, it pushed me like, oh, that's what you guys think of me. And so it was a 3-year to 4-year climb of just coming in the gym early. I would arrive 3 p.m. at Moro Lorenzo, work out, get stronger, and then I'd shoot around 4 to 5 p.m. I'd be in the gym lifting weights 3 to 4, shooting 4 to 5, and then I'll rest, and then we have training 6 to 8. That was the grind until my 4th year when Coach Norman came in.
Yes, okay.
And it culminated, fortunately and unfortunately, to that game 1 of Ateneo UST, where Coach Norman diagrammed that amazing play where where God gave me that amazing moment in UAP history to 1 second down. I still get tagged if there's 1 second. Oh, Doug Kramer play. I'm like, oh, Coach Norman play. But then, yeah, that journey of parang struggling, and keeping at it. And then from, so funny how they used to call me Butterfingers, and that was a half-court pass from Maki Escalona. And catching it and releasing, and up to now it's still goosebumps. It's 19 years ago, guys, but it's still very fresh in my mind. Unfortunately, we lost that series, but it propelled me much higher. So yeah, that was an amazing experience with my alma mater.
But what's the plan really to go to PBA?
No, because when I was in high school, my dad was in the army before, and my brother went to the Navy. So in high school, I said I actually wanted to be in the Navy SEALs, and I was keen on that until my last 2 years in high school, where I started to improve in the Baguio city level.
Baguio.
And then I never, parang for me, when I set goals, I like to set goals first which I can reach, and then once I reach that goal, I set a new benchmark. So when I became one of the better players in Baguio, my first one was to make Ateneo, and then from Ateneo, made the lineup but wasn't good enough. My next goal was starting 5, and it took years. So parang my PBA sights only started, I'd say, on my last year, 2006, and that's, people were still doubting me. They were saying, yeah, he might be good enough towards the second round, ganyan. And every time I read that, I never got disappointed. In fact, I said, sige, you guys really think of me that way? So parang it pushes me more. And right after my UAP stint, went to Cebuana Lulier, John Henry Lulier's team, and I got mythical power forwards. I was the best power forward in the country entering the pros, and that propelled me to the PBA. And then new goals na naman. So kami ni JC yon, sabay kami.
JC and Tal. And then in the PBA, you played for a lot of different teams. Which one kind of gave you the most, the best memories?
Yeah, actually, I enjoyed a lot of the teams that I played for. Unfortunately, entering in the PBA, Air 21 during that time, they were mixing up players, trading their more veteran players and getting new ones.
Lagi naman.
Yes, and then when I went to Powerade, the international bosses didn't believe, the one that took over here didn't believe, so they had to sell the players. I eventually ended up in Petron and San Miguel, but it was fun time for each team that I played for. But your question was, which did I have fun? Bill, for me, I have fun when I play. Because as a basketball player,
that's what you want.
You want, like some people, they say, I want to win championships and yeah, that's nice. But for me, I want to play and win a championship, right? That feels better. Not because I'm not happy for the team or I'm being selfish, but I want to make sure I want to celebrate and also parang I did something also to contribute. So my times that I really enjoyed was, I'd say, the most was my Powerade and Barako stint. But I enjoyed my time. Don't get me wrong. I good friendships, all throughout the teams that I played for. But like I said, I played the most during those times, and I was able to really prove myself in the pros during that stint.
And then when did you decide na that's enough, I want to retire? That's always so hard to do.
It is. Ako, Bill, puhunan ko is hard work. I was never so athletic. I was never so, people think I'm tall, but I guard guys that are 6'9", 6'10". Yeah, I'm tall. So I was considered undersized for my position.
Tweener.
I was never create your shot with so much dribble. I was never like that. And then I was never naman a 3-point shooter. So ang puhunan ko was my hard work and the time that I put. And I would be first guy in, last guy out. But towards the end, I just found myself, getting a bit parang complacent. And
really?
yes, and I was team captain when I was at Phoenix, and they wanted me to still play, but I felt like instead of me trying to squeeze out every penny I could, parang I felt like I didn't want to shortchange the management. They treated me so well, Dennis Oy, RTZ, and I just said na parang, I think in a few months, I will check how my heart is.
Okay.
Because of course I have to consult my wife, and I just wasn't enjoying the game as it was before, and the fun and then the hard work. If it's not there, like, what am I? I'm gonna drag myself to training all the time, and yeah, it was 12 years. Bill, to be honest, I could have played till 15, 16, 17 years. I could have, but I just said it's not fair for the young guys to see a supposed hard worker proving myself in the pros because of my hard work and not putting that much time and effort. It's not fair. So I decided to take a step back myself rather than being pushed off.
It was, you're having a good education and not really needing to play basketball a factor?
I mean, whatever course I took in Ateneo, I don't think it's what I'm doing now. But in terms of finishing the job, being responsible with the blessings I've been given, those are the things that I learned from my school, and being a man for others.
Yes.
And I feel like that's what I took from college more than the diploma. So when, of course, part is the financial, like how am I gonna sustain and everything, diba? So part of the struggles during my PBA was actually we were in debt most of the time, and people don't know that. But not in debt because of luho or anything. It was more of when me and my wife were talking, we said, let's invest. And to the point that we were over investing. So sometimes we would be negative on months because we had to put money in real estate, we had to put money in this investments, and yun yung naging struggle namin throughout my first 10 years. And after a while, like towards my 11, 12, my last years, and then even after that, the fruits of that hardship started, bumabawi siya. So that gave me peace towards towards the end of my career, like chosen really good real estate, so properties and other investments that really blossomed towards the end, and that's been carrying us. At the same time, God's grace, up to now, we're on the digital space as our family, Team Kramer. They've been following our family for the longest time, since 2013. Gavin was 1 year old, and up to now, like they continue to follow and support us, I think, and I think it's because of the unit. Our family, how Cheska and I, we love each other. We're so sacrificial for the kids. We let our kids be children, and parang we're just a family that people, parang broken families are everywhere, and I think that's why they're still with us, because they see that there's a family that's God-centered, and just a very Filipino family. Yeah.
What's the plan ever since for your kids to be in sports?
Probably not the first 8-9 years, kasi they're so young. We made them try different sports. They did taekwondo, they did jiu-jitsu, arnis, soccer, ballet, lahat na. And then they just settled on later on, Kendra, 11 years old, for swimming. Scarlett did taekwondo for 3 years, then she shifted to tennis. Full-time now. Then Gavin did a few sports, but now he's already on basketball, and I wanted the desire to come from them. Like, as a parent, our job was to expose them to different sports. Yes, expose to not impose. But then as a parent, you also see what your child's naturally good at, and then you support with the coaches and see how it is, and then ultimately we settled on those sports that they're playing for.
How hard is it for you to be a sporting dad?
Very hard, especially they're playing different sports.
Yung mga referee.
well, right now I don't wanna. The referees, like, it's a non-controllable factor, right? You can't control them. But what I'm very big on for the kids, I don't, like for basketball, I tell Gavin, I don't care about the misses. I want to see your attitude and your effort, because those are the things that you can control. I said, shot shots that will go in, that's repetition. But it's your attitude and effort that will bring you to the court every time you want to. And I think for 2 years, I told our kids, you guys like your sports pa. Like, keyword is like. But the moment that you truly love your sport is when daddy and mommy doesn't have to tell you to play. You bring yourself to the court. You look at videos, you study people that are very good. And then that's when I truly see na parang, oh wow, the 2 years, 3 years of, putting them into sports and then getting trainers, parang that's when the fruits of their labor will start to come out. Yeah.
So hindi ka nakikialam sa mga coach?
I will not pakialam in terms of technical stuff, Bill, but there's a very common mental aspect to sports, and I can bring a lot of that.
Okay.
So how you can focus in before, how you can block out distractions. I've gone through all of that. How you can be far more detailed in terms of approaching your sport, because I went to the professional level. I know what it takes there, and it's really down to the details and repetition. So I have to put that to the kids. But in terms of like, you played bad, ganyan, no, I'm not like that. I said you could have done better because you were not focused before. I could see that. Mga ganyan.
May distractions.
Yes.
Okay, but from a personal perspective, do you see yourself ever coaching? O wala kang pasensya?
I always say no. But recently, so I've been retired since 2019. Around 2023, a lot of guys started messaging me about basketball and inviting me to play, and it sort of rekindled something again. But what I did was for 2 years now, every 2 weeks, I gather professionals who are still in the PBA and PBL, imports, guys in college, NCAA, and PBL guys in high school. And I invite them personally every 2 weeks, and we play here at the school nearby, and I lead them to Bible studies 10 minutes before our runs, and then I get a referee, we play. So every 2 weeks, not coaching, but I'm mentoring some guys, and that brings a lot of fulfillment for me, because I feel like whatever I learned this past 12 years plus 5 years in playing basketball, I know that my journey can be of help for others. The testing I went through can be also a testimony for others. So right now, that's what I'm doing on my Sundays, every other Sunday. In fact, the other day, guys like Matthew Wright came in, Greg Slaughter, a lot of guys talaga, and I'm just so happy because they come in, they sit down for the Bible studies, and we compete basketball still at a very high level, and I enjoy that, and I enjoy them asking questions and batuhan ng ideas and everything, so it's very nice.
What about your faith? Why do you feel that that's central and very important to you, especially when you had a stroke?
When I did my bench press, as in literally one, I felt so tired. And then with Kendra, it was very small at the time, that I said, why do you look like you just took a shower? I was sweating profusely after one. And then I had to go like this. And then I tried to stand up. I staggered to my left. Like my left side was very heavy. And then I shouted for checks. I fell to the side, couldn't control, and I just vomited. And I couldn't move. And then eventually, after like 30 minutes, Chex was like, are you gonna die of us? What's happening? Yeah. And after 30 minutes, I felt a bit stronger. I was able to slide myself from the top floor down the stairs. And then when I went to the hospital, I felt I could stand and everything. But when they saw the MRI, I had a clot in my brain. Oh gosh. So if that popped, it would have been a different story. would have been...
Did they have to drain it?
No more, because it wasn't that bad. But there was a white spot na, and usually that white spot can become very big.
Yeah.
So if it spreads, you can get, that's when people get paralyzed on one side.
Yeah.
So what they did was they found through a series of tests, they found a hole in my heart, which is congenital. So you know when you're a kid, your baby, malambot yung dito mo.
Oh, yeah.
So eventually it will fuse, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing with the heart. They say that 75% of the population closes, but the 25% is, it never closes, but it's asymptomatic. So if something happens, you deal with it. And it so happened that it was that one time out of all the years, like I played in Ateneo, played all of this, and that happened, and then biglang, yun nangyari. I was saved through advances in technology, because if that was 10 years before 2016, crack open my chest.
Yeah.
And that's it, no sports. My faith stems far beyond before the stroke. God is my anchor, Jesus, and I will say that very bluntly because you look at our house, like I couldn't have how. Like you look at my life, my family, my marriage, my kids growing up so responsibly and God-fearing. That's I can't attribute that to me. Who am I? But you know, we've been very intentional with the kids in exposing them to the fruits of the Spirit, being loving, being peaceful, having self-control, and I lead my kids in Bible study. If I do that for the guys, every Sunday, we watch service together, and I ask them questions because I don't want them to just see, right? I need them to understand. And when they have questions about the Bible, about Jesus, about their faith, I'm open to that. Cheska's open to that. She has one-on-one Bible time with them, and we attribute how we are as a family because of our Bible values. And for me, that's how I am. I've remained faithful to my wife, Cheska, ever since we were boyfriend-girlfriend. And that's 2003. I've never went astray. And a lot of basketball players might think that's impossible. And because basketball players, they say babaero and everything. But I said, you're more of a man if you can stick to one girl. And for me, I prayed for my wife. And why will I try to compromise that? I prayed for my family. Why will I try and compromise what God has given me, right? So it's about valuing the big blessings, about valuing the small blessings, every single thing, and attribute that it's not because of the work of my hands, it's because God allowed it to happen, right? But it doesn't take away the fact that we still have to do our job, right?
Is it tougher now, given everything that's happening in society, out in the world?
Yes, like you have to, especially with social media. Social media can be a good thing because of influence. Social media can be a positive thing. But if you're not careful, if we're not careful, if our kids are not careful, they can be influenced greatly by people who are not supposed to be influencers, right? So I would always tell our kids, right, don't get validation from social media. Like we do it, we share content and everything, but we could care less if we get 1,000 views or 1,000,000 views. We don't care if we get 1,000 likes or 1,000,000 likes. It's more of the message that we want to impart, and if they become so attached to just the pleasures of life through the social media and the influence and peer pressure, then that comes home to how we were as parents in raising them. So it comes back to intentionality of parents. If your kids are being more influenced in social media, then social media is bigger in their life than your parents, right? Than you as parents. So we make sure that we spend not just quality time, but we try to do quantity as well.
In your experience, you've traveled a lot. What made you decide to really just ultimately put roots down in the Philippines?
We love the Philippines despite the horrible traffic and the corruption. My parents are still here. All my siblings have left for the US and Europe, but it's just different. Like Manila,
it's home.
It's home, man. Like I know we like that we know people and that we can also try to mentor other people, and the hospitality of the Pinoys. And when you go out, see, Cheska made a very good example. When we travel. when you arrive at different countries, the porters, they're nice, or the people that welcome you to the airplane. But when you arrive in Manila, yung mga nag-aabang sa'yo, yung mga mahawak ng wheelchair, "Hi sir, welcome back po," ganyan, and then kailangan nyo pong umupo dito, kasi sabihan nyo lang kami, ganyan. Parang it's just so parang, that's home, right? And this is the attitude of the Filipino that makes us so attracted to staying here. Yeah.
Okay, siguro as a last question, what would you tell a kid who wants to get into sports and warn them about adversity and what they should prepare for and learn from it?
It's a good question. There is no easy sport. There is no sport that you will not experience adversity. In fact, adversity builds character.
Yes.
And that's where a lot of people go away from it because they can't handle the pressure, they can't handle adversity. And that's biblical, diba? Consider it joy when you go through troubles and trials. Not because of that, but because it builds character, it builds endurance. And that's the same kind of concept that you bring into sports. So what I would say to the kid is love the sport, because your dad or your mom can only do so much to put you into a schedule, but it's you that you have to discover within yourself, do I really want to improve? Do I really want to stay in the sport? And if you truly love the sport, everything follows. Because you love the sport, I will go through adversity. Because I love the sport, I will go through the pain of working out every day. I will go through the pain of sacrifice, right? Because like Kendra, she trains every day. Right now after school, she went straight to training. She misses out on friends time. So that's part of growing up. So my advice is keep at it, love the sport first, because everything will follow. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Doc.
Thank you, Bill.
Appreciate it.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco. Magandang umaga! Bangon, bagong Pilipinas. Mas pinalakas at mas pinaigting ang inyong himpilan ng radyo sa umaga. Agahan na may kabuluhan. Sabay-sabay nating tunghayan ang maiinit at mahahalagang balitang hatid para sa inyo. 2 oras na balitaan ng may tamang impormasyon at malasakit. Kasama si Alice Noel at Simon Ong. Mula alas 6 hanggang alas 8 ng umaga. Dito lang sa DWAN 1206 AM. Gusto nyo ba ng mas exciting na content? It's time to manually scan your Digibox or Smart TV. Tune in sa aming dynamic trio lineup, all in one channel band. Stay tuned to Congress TV at channel 13.2 for the latest updates and happenings straight from the legislative halls. Enjoy your favorite shows na hindi lang siksik sa information, kundi punong-puno rin sa entertainment sa IBC 13 at Channel 13.1. At para sa pinakabagong balita, talk shows at music, stay tuned to the 1206 AM sa Channel 13.3, broadcasting your favorite radio shows on your TV. All this and more in just one channel band. Don't miss out. Manually scan your Digibox or Smart TV now to enjoy Congress TV at 13.2, IBC 13 at 13.1, at the 1206 AM at 13.3. Experience more. Enjoy more. Only on your TV. Then to Hardball with Bill Velasco.
At bago tayo magpaalam, meron tayong balita mula sa ating mga kaibigan sa Sprinto. To all our Sprinto friends out there, gear up for the most epic Black Friday sale of the year. This Friday, November 28, 2025, Sprinto is offering a mind-blowing 50% off kalahati po on selected styles. It's a one-day only promo you don't want to miss. Participating branches, Ayala Malls, Glorieta, Lucky Chinatown, Robinsons, Antipolo, Dumaguete, Iligan, Manila, Ormoc, and Tacloban, SM City, Bacoor, Baguio, Baliwag, Batangas, Cabanatuan, Cebu, Clark, Fairview, Iloilo, Lucena, Marilao, Olongapo Central, Pampanga, San Lazaro, Santa Rosa, SM Lanang, Mega Mall, North EDSA, and South Mall. Wow! 50% off po yan. Sprinto, inspire everyday. Maraming salamat po sa ating mga kaibigan mula sa Sprinto.
You're tuned in to Hardball with Bill Velasco.
At bago tayo magtapos, muli ko kayo inaanyayahan na tangkilikin po ang ating mga online sports channels. Alay po natin yan sa mga atletang Pilipino. At para sa kanila po ang tinatrabaho namin ito. Unang-una sa lahat, ang Basketball Universe PHL, ang Women Who Win, parehong matatagpuan ninyo sa YouTube at Facebook. At ang paparating sa December 6 po, Sabado po yun, ang Secret Sports Stories. Abangan po ninyo yan.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
At ang pasasalamat natin sa ating mga suki, syempre, gaya ng lagi, Nanay Elena Fernandez, Ariel Estrada, Carlos Nismal, Timothy Hayo, Beatriz Balasta, Christian Lobrico, Rachel Beltran, Mary Ann Kiban, Cassandra Fernandez, Roxanne Delfino, Roxanne Sandoval, Marivic Delfino, Francis San Juan, Giancarlo Flores, Eli Dacuma, James Herradura, Brenda Adriano, Lisa Palma, Criel Orozco, Julian Rafael Lapid, B. Casiano, Grap Arca at Gab Ferreras.
Hardball with Bill Velasco.
At kanselado po ang mga afternoon class sa mga public schools dahil po inaasahang lalakas pa ang mga ulan at hangin ngayong hapon. Kaya kung kailangan, sunduin nyo na po yung mga anak ninyo na nasa paaralan pa at mag-ingat po tayo dahil ang panahon ngayon ay talagang hindi na natin matatansya kung mainit ba, ulan o mainit at umuulan. Okay? Yan po ang isang paalala po sa ating programa. At yan ang ating hardball para sa araw na ito. Muli, kami ay masusubaybayan mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 11 na umaga hanggang alas 12 ng tanghali. Dito lang po yan sa DWAN 12:06 AM. Abangan nyo, susunod na ang The Showbiz Authority. Ako si Bill Velasco. Magkita-kita po tayo muli bukas.